Okay, folks, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. Today's guest, we have Jim Stych of Stych Inc. And Stych Inc. is a custom-tailored men's attire store and business. They do events, weddings, business dress. They will have everything from off the peg all the way to bespoke custom menswear. Jim Stych is the owner. Jim, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Pleasure to be here with you.
Well, Jim, you were a guy who, when I heard your story initially, I was so curious to talk to you a little bit more. I wanted to understand how you got into the game and what kind of compelled you to get to the successful entrepreneur that you are today. Especially with a name like Stych, it just feels right that you go into the men's fashion industry. But tell us that story. Tell our viewers how it was that you started this shop of your own.
Well, probably started early on when I was younger and had a mom who, you'll always wear your Sundays best. Made sure that we were dressed just right for school. I even had my blue jeans pressed. That's just the way she was. And then the first job that I didn't receive as I got to my later teen years was with a clothing store. And I guess it kind of sparked me as far as I'll show them, because I've been wearing suits for speech and debate and other things. So I went to work for a company called Bremer's in the Midwest, which was a retail outlet for Hart, Schaffner and Marks. Went through the ranks, became the best salesperson they had outside of the full-time managers, because I was part-time going to college at the University of Iowa. And it just grew from there. I had a business internship program while I was at the University of Iowa. And one of their sister companies was a company called Tom James Company, the world's largest custom men's clothier. And so I had a desire to go to work for them, and moved through the ranks, went through their training, and had a full custom background for well over a decade. And it always seemed like that would be interesting to have my own company. That's where that thought said, is it too corny? Your last name is Stych. Have a clothing company called Stych. And one thing led to another. Worked for a company, had a few good ideas that company did, and I became the face of the company and said, I think we can take this to a different level and go better. So bought the company. And through trials and travails, we grew. And my fiance, Sharon May, was inspirational into incorporating the company. So we're an S Corp here in California. And that was the last step to open all the doors to all kinds of manufacturing companies. To today we can do everything off the rack, from casual to dress up to formal, to full custom, casual, dress up, formal. And we can talk and work with companies, whoever, because we're independent. We're not tied to, it's made for, whatever delivery company pulls up at the door could be delivering garments or items or accessories from whatever company it might be.
Yeah.
So it's really exploded for us.
Yeah, you were telling me just before we started shooting this that you guys have had some really fantastic years recently, and I want to wish you congratulations on that. That is killer. You guys, like you said, are in Oxnard. You have your own brick and mortar shop, and you took that and ran with it now for nearly 10 years, and you've grown this business to multiple different divisions. But I think that what's so cool about your company at Stych Inc. is just how it seems to me like you are that consultant for the man who needs a guy for everything. These days, I think more and more people forget about, the local barbershop or the local clothier or, the local tailor who can make you look and shine and feel your best. And that's really what you guys deliver. And that's, from my feeling about you, is kind of the difference from those other guys. My third question, always, what is it that makes you guys unique? Tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Well, the first thing that makes us unique is that we are independent. So we have the greatest selection in the Tri-County area. If you put most of the other retail stores together, we probably have more suits, jackets, and apparel than all of them put together. We get calls from other companies saying, do you guys happen to have this color or this item? And we do. And so we get referrals from them because they don't have it, we do. Um, a good example would be prom, where girls are wearing all kinds of colors of dresses, and the poor guys are trying to do their part by at least having a tie or bow tie, to match up with her color.
Yeah.
And they go around and they find out that, oh gee, most places have half a dozen colors,
Right.
and we probably have shades and colors to choose from in bow ties, at least 4 dozen or more shades. In ties, probably close to double that.
Right. Well, and I
So
mean, a
when it comes,
corsage can really only take you so far, right? It's
yeah,
really about
and
how you're fit.
right, and then you want to take that really good picture because that's what they all care about. And then we can take a person anywhere from an off the rack suit at $195, which includes, by the way, basic alterations. Most places don't do alterations. We do. And we can get those done. And as I said, the basic alterations and a suit for $195 is, kind of unheard of. That suit came from our background working with TV and movies. And I worked with, having to supply wardrobe departments for 10 years. And, this suit's design and fabric came from Mission Impossible Fallout, which was its last big movie that, the stuntmen were in suits were wearing.
Is
And then we can,
You're saying this, not this suit you're wearing now, or is it? Or is this the?
no,
No.
the one I'm wearing now is actually more from our EP division. This was the original G2 suit. G1 was the one that I was talking about because it was made for stuntmen. So it had a bigger armhole so you could throw a punch and, not tear the suit up. This one here is one of the first ones that has some stretch to it, and it's a performance fabric. You can clean it with a little bit of Dawn dish soap or shampoo and cold water and blot dry, and you don't need to go to the dry cleaner.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you guys have
Then we can
multiple
do,
divisions, right? I mean, you do
yeah,
retail, you do custom. You've got these, four-way stretch suits too for, people in the protection business, and also folks who, are in need of missionary clothing as well. It's the divisions do not stop at Stitch, which is really cool.
yeah, we keep trying to address where we see a need that isn't, like being met. So like in the LDS community, when they go on their mission, they need garments that'll perform for 2 years, that are easy care, durable, and a young man who's never had to maintain his wardrobe can, it's livable and workable for them.
Mm-hmm.
For an EP person, they need certain performance, items. It has to be able to do this or do that. After being an instructor for 4.5 years, teaching ex-military about apparel and situational awareness and threat environments, we bring, from listening to their input, we bring that to the marketplace all the way down to no sweat underwear. So there's all kinds of different needs that need to be met. We're different, that we listen and we measure a person. So the measuring tape is, if you will, the ultimate boss. It is what it is.
Right. I mean, like, you touch all sorts of spaces in this fabric realm, the custom tailoring world, men's attire, Jim. I mean, you do a whole lot of everything with that. And you're a master in all these spaces. When I first met you, man, you just totally struck me, not only in the way you present yourself, but how you looked too, man. It just it made me feel like a fuddy-duddy, comparing myself to you, man. Stych Inc. is the business, folks. Jim, before I wrap this up, I do want people to know where they can find your store. And if they'd like to find you online, where can they do that?
Okay, they can find us online at Stych, STYCHINC.com. We're just a block and a half off the freeway in Oxnard, off the Vineyard exit. So that's 2365 East Vineyard. For those in the area, we're right across the street from the tall Morgan Stanley building. It's the tallest building from Woodland Hills to San Jose. So if you find that, we're across the street. So it's about 23 stories tall. And
I didn't know that, actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, we just try to help people dress the part because there's a time and place for everything, and the right time and the right place for the right garment. And guys need to remember at the end, dressing dressing up or looking good should not be uncomfortable. Being comfortable is part of looking good, because after all, what lingerie is to men, a suit is to a lady.
I can't say it any better than that, guys. Jim, that was fantastic. For those of you looking to get in touch with Jim, we're going to pop all of his information into the description of this video. Seriously, this guy will make an impression on you, and his suits will do just that much better than he can. So Jim, thank you again for being a guest here on Know Your Pros. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Know Your